Well, everybody, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion has finally come out. Miles Morales' Spider-Man has made his appearance in the 6160 universe. And let me just say, I was a little bit let down. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted more. This book was good. If anything, it was like solid good. Maybe 8, 7.5, 8.5-ish range. But I was expecting 10, you know? Dennis Camp's on it. He does 10 out of 10s like it's nothing. Cody Ziegler's on it. He's writing Miles Morales' current ongoing Spider-Man run. They're all like 10 out of 10s like it's nothing. So to me, I figured this book would just be an easy 10 out of 10. But it was a little lacking for me, okay? I wanted, like I said earlier, I wanted a little bit more. But like, before I get too deep into this video, I want to know what every single one of you thought about this comic. It's the newest Ultimate book. It's the newest book in the Ultimate line. So I want to know what every single one of you guys thinks about this book before we jump too deep into this video. Let me know down below. We won't cover the very, very early part of the story because that was in all the solicitations in the free comic book day. We just know Billy gets the card, transports to the 6160 universe, and then Miles Morales' Spider-Man tries to follow her, and they end up in different places in the same universe, okay? Now, we see like the Spider-Man from this universe of 6160. We see both Peter and Richard, and they're both about to fight the Spot, and they do begin fighting him when Miles appears. Miles appears, and they're having some struggles with the Spot, and Miles does not struggle with the Spot. I got exactly what I wanted there. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm very happy about that part. I know I talked about this in my video about the Incursion event and what I wanted to see, and we got to see it at least in the very beginning. Miles Morales' Spider-Man is a Don here. He is a god. He's so powerful. Like, look at the way he just dispatches of the Spot like it's nothing, dude. Like, it's literally nothing. You have two Spider-Man working against them, and it doesn't work for them. Miles Morales' Spider-Man comes in, he puts the dude down in seconds flat. So fast that Peter Parker's Spider-Man of this universe is like, well, fuck. That was crazy, because that's how crazy he is. And then the two get to introduce themselves, or said, then they all get to introduce themselves to one another. This was a kind of nice. I like this moment. You know, you get to see Richard's like, wow, this guy's crazy. Whereas Peter's like, hey, you're not wrong, this guy's pretty crazy. And they have like a cool like moment about does what a spider does. I like that part too. But a big problem I have with the story, it's not really a problem I have with the story, but Miles doesn't really connect with Peter and Richard because he's so focused on trying to find Billy. And where I get it. I really do, you know what I mean? His 11-month-old sister is trapped in this world, and he has no idea where she is. And he doesn't know what goes on in this universe. His apprehension makes sense to me. But as a fan, I wanted to see more interaction between these three. I think we all know what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Miles Morales find out that Peter Parker of this universe is married to Mary Jane and has 2 kids with her, so that he could talk about the situation back on 616 and maybe they can compare and contrast. However, that doesn't actually end up happening. Not really at all. They meet each other as Spider-Man, Peter, and Miles, and then Miles sees Richard's suit, and he's instantly like, oh my god, please tell me you're not Venom. And then Richard's like, Venom? That's a pretty sick name. I'm gonna call myself Venom now. So at that moment right there, Miles doesn't actually get the connection that these are father-son. And even if he did from hearing their conversations while he was like racing through the city, he's so focused trying to find Billy. Who these two Spider-Men are isn't really a point of concern to him. He's traveled through the Spider-Verse. How many Spider-Men has he seen at this point? Seeing 2 Spider-Men in a universe is like, oh, well, there's 2 Spider-Men in this universe, and he's going about his day because what's most important to him? It's his sister. So I get all that. I get why he's not really focused on this stuff. I get why he's not really caring about the Spider-Men themselves because he's trying to find Billy. I think it's really interesting that they subtly just throw at us that Richard Parker is going to be this universe's Venom, by the way. This is clearly going to be something that sticks. That's one thing I do want to note with Dennis Camp writing this. I know I said it's not the peakest of peaks, but I still really liked it and I thought it was really good. And I know there's a lot of breadcrumbs left in here that are going to come to fruition later. It's what Dennis Camp does. He's a godlike writer, so I have full faith in him. So like the number one, like I just talked about, was Richard Venom. This is very interesting to me. We don't have a Venom in this universe yet, and Venom is like the biggest Spider-Man adversary slash helper hero character. He was so big that he became his own character, right? He's bigger than Punisher by far too, who also became his own character. He is just the biggest thing that ever came out of the Spider-Man mythos that couldn't stay in it because it was so big. That's Venom. And they just hinted at us that this is going to be Venom for the universe. I think that's crazy. I don't know how this is all going to play out, or if the symbiote suit's going to turn bad and turn Richard bad, or what'll happen, but I think this is insane because they leave it at us like a lighthearted thing, but at least I know it's going to be something more than that. Another breadcrumb that I really want to touch on is the Spot. This is the Spot from 6160. This is not like a multiversal hopping Spot like we get from the Unlimited stories or like from the Spider-Verse movie. This is the spot for this universe. We know this because he stole from somebody else what they got from Tony Stark, and he's like, suck it, Tyrone, something along that, like, those verbiage. And to me, this is nuts, because we have a new villain that we haven't seen before, who's the Spider-Man longtime villain. He's been a villain since the 90s, so at least 30 years in the Spider-Man mythos. But on top of that, Tyrone is actually Cloak, or at least to my knowledge, Tyrone Johnson in 616 is Cloak. And the only reason Spot becomes the Spot is because Dr. Ohm uses Cloak's powers, opens a dimensional portal, walks into the portal, comes out, and he's the Spot. This universe, however, doesn't... This, at least to me, this doesn't seem like a regular Dr. Ohm. I don't even know if this is Dr. Ohm because of how, like, flippant and goofy, not goofy, but, like, how, like, unsure of himself he is. Dr. Ohm is, like, he is goofy, don't get me wrong, but he was like, oh, I'm over here now, I'm doing this. Like, he willingly walked into a dimensional portal versus this guy who can't even get a sentence out without stuttering over himself, trying to, like, figure out what to say. So this is, to me, it's probably not Dr. Ohm, but I want to know who it is. And I want to know if Cloak of this universe has anything to do with the character. What if this is this universe's dagger, right? That could be crazy. That'd be insane. We have no knowledge of it. I can't wait to see this character have more role in the future of the storyline. I just think it has, like, there's no reason for them to mention the name Tyrone unless they were going to have the character have a more prominent storyline, or at least another arc, or appear somewhere, right? It's similar to me as like the original Shocker we see in the 6160 universe with Spider-Man. I also think that he's going to come back as well, because he wasn't supposed to be the Shocker who Iron Man gifted. That guy was already dead for some reason. So something in that storyline to me is going to come back up later, much like how this will come back up later, much like how Richard Parker's Venom's going to come back up later. The story ends with all the villains talking about how a dimensional portal that's akin to the Maker's dimensional portals appeared in the universe. At least 2 of them did. So they know 2 people arrived, or maybe 1 person arrived and they teleported to another spot on the universe, or on the Earth. The thing is, though, they don't know who it is. They think it may be the Maker, maybe like an assassin sent by the Maker. They all want to know what it is, though, or who it is. So Billy and Miles are both clearly being hunted down by the villains. But the Ultimates know about this too, and they send both Hank and Janet to confront Miles and figure out what he's doing in this universe. And let me tell you, this is very scary for me, because we just found out that Janet is a spy. She actually works for the bad guys. So I hope Miles doesn't reveal too much to Janet, because we don't want Janet telling the bad guys about Billy. God, I can't. I don't want Billy dying. I just want her safe. She's only 11 months old. Please get to her, Miles. The next book is supposed to take place in Wakanda, featuring both Ant-Man and Wasp as well. So hopefully, because to my knowledge, it looked like Billy was in Wakanda based on the scenery in which she landed in. What I hope to see out of the rest of this run is I hope that Miles finds Billy before the run ends. I don't want it to be like the final 6th or 5th issue. He finds Billy and he just leaves. I hope he finds her the next issue, or at the latest in the 3rd issue. This way he has some time in the universe actually exploring the universe, talking to other heroes of the universe, giving us more of a contrast and comparison between 616 and 6160. I think this is the perfect character to do so, because he's not really from either of them. He just spent time in both of these universes, you know? So I think it'd be really cool if he gets to talk to everybody about these 2 universes, and maybe about his own universe. I would love that so freaking much. Before I end this video, there's one thing I do want to talk about that I see a lot of people complaining about online when it comes to this comic, and I gotta disagree wholeheartedly. Mad people online are complaining about the fact that Miles Morales' Spider-Man was getting heavy praise from Richard Parker throughout the entire book. People online are talking about how oh look, they're just propping up Miles again. Oh, how come everybody has to bring down Peter to prop up Miles? Why has Miles always got to be shown off better than Peter Parker? And it's just I hate it. I hate all of these reasonings. I hate all of these opinions. They're terrible. They're trash. I don't even know what they're founded in besides hate, because that's all it is. It's just straight up hate. First off, for the first 40 to 50 years of Peter Parker's existence, he was getting gawked on out the wazoo. Whether he was the prototypical superhero in the 2099 universe and they want to implement him and then recreate his abilities, so because he was just that broken. Right? Whether it's in the Guardian Galaxy's alternate future universe where Spider-Man was the last one surviving fighting off the Martians and he was so powerful they wanted to take his DNA and clone him into one of their own Martians. These were actual stories that happened. These are not everybody talking about Miles Morales was just talked about being so much better than Peter Parker. It's Okay, like that's it. All they do is say he's better than Peter Parker. They didn't have world-ending events and have like gods like Thor and Hulk die before Peter Parker ever could. Like they was gawking Peter Parker long before Miles Morales was ever on the scene, and the way they gawked him was he's the greatest of all time. There's no one better than him. Versus Miles Morales, they're like, wow, this guy's better than Peter Parker. And in this universe, he definitely should be better than Peter Parker. This guy started being a superhero maybe 16 months ago, at the most 18 months ago. That's it. No more than that. So I don't understand how people can read this, see that a child sees another childhood Spider-Man, sees him be better than his own father is, exponentially better because he has so much more experience, and they're like, damn, this is just to prop up Miles. It's like, do you guys actually hear yourself? Like, I can't actually reason with you guys at that point. It doesn't make any sense. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, has been doing this longer than any superhero in this verse that we actually know of. Like, we get like a sense of. He's been doing it longer than all of them. And on top of that, even if you could find one who's maybe been doing it longer, because we know like Thor and Wolverine have been around forever, even if you could find someone who's been doing it longer, they didn't fight threats that Miles Morales Spider-Man fought. They just haven't. Miles Morales Spider-Man fought Galactus. He fought Null. When Carnage infested the entirety of the New York City, guess who was there on ground zero trying to help and even got turned into a Carnage? When vampires took over the entirety of the Earth, guess who was there at ground zero and was even turned into a vampire? Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and he came over all of that. He overcame all of those trials and tribulations. So the notion that he shouldn't be better than any of the heroes in a universe where most of the heroes are taken off the board, as well as most of the villains were taken off the board, it's just insane to me. He has the validity to prove that he's done it in canon. He has the feats. He has the stories. I can't fathom this notion that Richard Parker shouldn't be excited to see a kid Spider-Man being better than his dad. Like, he just is aspiring to be something. There's nothing wrong with that. Ugh, it just bothers me. I don't understand why so many people just hate Miles. I mean, I do, but God, is it annoying. That's pretty much it for me in this video. I actually am enjoying the run so far. I really hope, like I said, we get to see Billy earlier in the run and Miles could actually explore the universe. Maybe talk to the Peter Parker. Maybe get to the marriage thing. I want to hear him talk about the marriage thing. I want to hear him talk to Black Panther and the differences between the universes. Maybe he convinces Black Panther and Storm to get together. I don't even know if he would know that, but maybe Black Panther told him that in 616 on the side that he used to marry Storm. I don't know. But I just hope that we get to see more of a comparison and contrast of the universes rather than Miles trying to speed run through the universe to find Billy. That's just my opinion. If you guys enjoyed this video, you should leave a like, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. And I think that's it for me in this video. Yeah, dunk out. Peace.